Welcome back everybody, this is Permadeath Survival. We have no jetpacks, we have no auto heal. Permadeath is on, so if we lose our survival kit over here, we lose the game. Well, if we lose that and die, that is. We have our lifter, which we built in the last episode, and the one before that. We have our mining rig, which has just bottomed out. We have our base frame with our wind turbines on. This needs completing. But first, we're going to retract this and we're going to expand it so that it can cover a little more range. This is going to need another timer block or sensor system, something that allows it to swing around up until this point and then turn around and go back the other way, the simplest possible way. I'm thinking we're going to use sensors for this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop that, retract it, and then we can assess how we can go forward from there. We're in a good position there to actually start expanding that out. Half our problem though is this ground is higher than where these are going to be, so we could either extend up and go one block higher, which could be possible. I think we could do that, or we could just carry on across and drill out this whole space here. So I think what we first do is we start drilling out. Got to be careful not to fall down that hole. I'm not keen on that. I'm a bit worried about falling in. Let's color that the right way. That was Control and P to pick the color. 3. Okay, we went a little bit off kilter there. See if we can do the rest. 4, 5. Can we get one more? Yeah, we can get 6. So most of what we're going to be doing in this particular session is we're going to finish off this drill, going to get that working so we get more resources coming in. We are also going to tweak this so that we can actually at least operate the wheels in some way from its basket at the back here, and then we're going to work out some piping for this base so that it can get turrets up to the top and the sides. I think I heard something. We do have spiders on Pertam, so any like burrowing sounds and such we have to be a bit aware of. Yeah, so we're gonna work out how to get some turrets up onto here to defend ourselves. We are also going to start putting the skin on this building, the outer skin with windows and any other decorations, and the top deck if we can. So a lot of that will be like time lapse. We don't have third-person view either in this game. We've disabled that. So any time lapse we do will be from my perspective. And we may just cut some bits out if it gets a bit too boring. So that's the mission for today. So we're going to finish this, we're going to finish this as much as we can, and we're going to finish that in not that order. So this is the last drill going in now. We need to add these new drills to our group. We're going to rename those. Just going to put LD at the beginning of each of these. It's kind of a bit redundant, the D, because it's like little drill, but that's what we started with, so that's what we'll carry on with. Right, that's fine. So that's all the drills added to the group, so they should now operate. Were they added? Let's just make sure. Yes, so they should now all operate as is, so we don't really need to change much of anything else. The next thing we need to do is add like a sensor or something. So we could either add an event controller that says when that rotor reaches a certain point to swivel it around, or we could add a timer block that changes its direction every now and again, but I don't really like that idea because sometimes it might take a little longer to get round due to whatever. So you could end up with like a decreasing circle which ends up getting smaller and smaller and smaller. If we use a sensor to detect this subgrid, and whenever it detects the subgrid in range, it changes the direction, that would work much better because then it's guaranteed to come round all the way. So let's try a sensor. Let's go with a fancy sensor. Right, let's configure this. So proximity alert, we don't need to be audible. We don't want to detect players or floating objects, small ships, large ships, any of these things. Subgrids, yes. No, for asteroids. Only stuff from me. There is the risk that if we drive a small like subgrid vehicle over here, then it could trigger it, but we're not going to get that close to the hole. Also as well, this is going to make it a little bit difficult for the lifter. So the lifter will not be able to drive over this hole to weld this part of the building up. But what I'm thinking is when we weld this side up here, we can put enough infrastructure in place to get across there on this side. So we won't need to actually like use the lifter on this bit here where all this is obstructing anyway. So right, let's see, let's just sort the extents out. Left extent, right, one of these big blocks is 2.5 meters, so we're going to say 5 meters. I think it's about fair. Maybe, yeah, let's go 4 meters. Leave a little bit of room for it to sort of swing. It'll bump maybe a little bit, but subgrid damage won't happen. Right extent the same. Bottom extent doesn't matter. Top extent doesn't matter. Back and front extent does not matter. Right. Actions. When it detects, we want the rotor. Ooh. Little drill advance rotor to reverse. That's all we want it to do. Right, the rest should just happen by itself. Right, what I need to do now before we start everything back up, because this has been running the entire time, so what I want to do before I do anything is pistons, so the LD pistons, I need to change their maximum distance to 0. Okay, and then we can turn all of this back on. So LD, little drills on, rotor on. Okay. Pistons for now I'm going to turn off. I want this whole thing to go round a little bit. This timer block I'm also going to turn off. Just for a moment. This has got a bit of work to do to get round. We may need to already it's loud, hang on. I think we have to reverse it for a bit because it was already in detection range. Again, with all these like event controllers and sensors and such, the event only triggers once it gets, well, once it actually crosses a threshold. So given that this was already in the threshold and detected, it would not have triggered the reverse. But the next time it comes into threshold, it will cross that line, which will trigger the event. This is a bit brutal. It's kind of like forcing its way across, and it may actually even gather enough to pause the whole system. This could do some damage potentially. If we see a drill spark out, then we'll stop it and repair it. It just needs to do one semicircle, and then it can work as normal from then. The ground does get lower over in that direction, so it should get easier for it. I may need to reverse that piston actually. I'm going to reverse these pistons for the time being, just to keep them at their minimum. There's a spider here. Only one way up. That's loud, that thing. Right, let's see if we can get these things. Oh, that's not clever. Right. You have to be careful of that. Don't think we're even hitting it. Where's he going to come up? Is this thing bugged? There we go. Right. Okay. Is there anything on these things? Meat. Useful. Where's the other one? Guess the other one's despawned, probably. Right. Okay, slight interruption from spiders then. This thing is now going round. Okay, still taking off some surface there, so let's just see if this actually swings around and changes direction. Perfect. Okay. So that works. Right, we've got to turn our timers back on and reverse our pistons. So let's do it in the other order. So LD. Pistons. Reverse the pistons. Turn the timers back on. And they should then continue their work. So we're going to end up with a really big, fairly deep hole. Once this bottoms out again, what we can then do is detach that, we'll anchor it, detach that, add more pistons, and then carry on. We may need a means of getting down there, but I think we can use this as the lift to get down. We just have to make sure we're able to reattach it before we try doing it, otherwise we're not getting back up. Not very easily. Right. So the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out how to make this kind of drivable from that seat there. And I think the best way to do it is possibly remote control. So we're going to pop up here and going to add a remote to the main grid. It needs an antenna if we do that as well. The other way we could do it is via overrides on the wheels. I'm a little nervous about using them because then you don't have access to all the steering and braking and such. So I do honestly think that a remote control would be the best way to go about this. So remote and antenna. Trying to figure out where to put an antenna on this thing could be a little tricky, so we'll come to that shortly. But we already need to figure out how to put a remote on this thing. So right, what's our getting up side? That's the ladder side. We can't place them there because of that. Oh, we've got all the plate and such on here as well. So we are going to have to pull a plate off here somewhere, but I have to figure out where's best. I think maybe on this side, because actually, which way does the whole thing swing? Deploy it, see which way it goes. I think it goes over. Okay, so it comes over this side, so putting a remote there is not going to be very clever. Subgrid control script would mean we would need to put some sort of a seat on here, and I don't really want to go down that route. So we're not going to do that. Okay, where to put a remote control? If I put, let's see, if I increase the height on this slightly to at least that for now, then I could probably get away with putting a remote on the back of here. Right, make sure it's pointing forward, I suppose. So that's, yeah, that's all forward, isn't it? Interior plates needed, right. I think I could pull some through from the base from here. Okay. That's loud. Right, I can only hope that that's the right way. So, okay, let's now... Can't reach that button. Let's try stashing it again and see if it stows properly. Okay, there's a decent amount of clearance there, and I think the remote control flushes this out quite nicely. It kind of almost looks like a support, which is great. Yeah, that'll do quite well. Right, now we also need an antenna of some sort. So, because we haven't got a seat on here to immediately access a remote via the grids, we could possibly get away with just popping one of these on here like that. Or up there. Okay, let's lower this. Okay. I pop one on here. Could put it even there actually. Right. We'll deploy that. How's our battery, by the way?
Low.
Yes, energy's low. Let's get our energy back for a moment. We're on 2 bars battery, which should last quite a long time. I ideally would like to get a bit more. We're going to have to do the lower part of this base without this lifter first anyway. I'm not sure those pistons have gone down at all. Let's have a look at them. LD. Piston. No, they're not going anywhere. Velocity's still negative. Let's do this right. Reverse it. Let's not cause any major problems here. Right, maximum distance should be that. This one, maximum distance. Yeah, they've been reversed the wrong way all this whole time. Right, they should start working now. Okay, fix that. Right, good. We just need to do a quick test of this. Parking brake engaged. Why are we still moving? Right, that's fine. Okay, so now we've got that. I know I don't necessarily have to stand in here to make this like work, but it's a safe space. And I need to test that the visibility is good enough without having like cameras and stuff. Right, so from here, let's see if we can actually remote this thing. So, oh, the grid needs a name. Info. We're just going to call it lifter for now. But if you can leave a comment in the comments now, right now, with a suggestion for a better name for this vehicle. When I check the comments, I will come back on the next episode and see if we've got a different name for this thing. Otherwise, I'll have to think of one myself. So, right, let's see if we can... small grid, small grid. So because the antenna... Okay, the antenna's there. Let's see if we can do it via this. This small grid... This is interesting. Right, let's just see what happens if we go to terminal for any of these. Can I see the remote control? Yes. Right, lift the remote control is there. Let's see if we can actually control it. We can. So I could technically, I can look up and down, but I can't turn my body. Just put the parking brake on. Wheels need to be much slower. The power needs to be a little lower as well. Steering angle's fine. Speed limit, let's go down to like 3. Right. The main thing is that what I can do is hold the brake, put the parking brake on, exit that, terminal, remote, control, and if I need to, so I can use forward and backwards to move myself along. We're on a hill, so I'd have to like literally parking brake before I carry on, but that gives me enough control to move this across the wall. Okay, that's fine. That works. We're in a good spot. Just bring this down so I can get off safely. Don't need my light on. Stow this thing. This is drilling nicely. The pistons appear to be extending slightly. So I hope they are. Let's make sure the pistons are still on positives. Yep. Yep. Maximum distance. Yep. Okay. That's just all working fine. And this is getting deeper, which is what we want. Got a long way to go. Let's have a look at our cargo situation. Yeah, cargo's quite low right now, so it's got a long way to go before it actually fills up enough to stop the whole system, which is perfect. Yeah, that works out quite well. We could put some like catwalks on here, maybe. Figure something out for that eventually. Right, what we need to do is we need to start thinking about the design of this. Oh, before that, we might as well plug this back in, because why have it unplugged when I'm not using it yet? Right, now that that's doing what it's doing, lovely. We need to start thinking about how we finish this off. So I definitely want to continue that pillar up there. Okay, so we definitely want to be continuing that pillar up there on both sides. So that's this pillar as well. The bottom row I don't think needs to have any windows, especially these bits here. So this run here doesn't need windows. This here will need a ramp, but we'll do it with slightly less steep blocks. Okay. This side's the same. Right. Bottom of there, that's fine. Right, the bottom I think does need mostly protection, but we're also going to need like a doorway in. So, I mean, we could come in via the front there, but I think also a doorway on this side would be quite nice. So, okay, so that's an official way in, which is good. Again, we don't need windows on this lower run. It's not where the habitation is going to be anyway. Okay. I do believe 1, 2. It would be beneficial to add an extra run of this to make sure that there's no risk of, like, if that bottom line gets hurt, it's like a double dependency to keep that grid attached to this grid so that it's easy enough to reconnect something if it breaks, or if we need to sort of change that line or anything, especially given that we kind of half drilled out the bottom of there. Right, this side here, I don't believe it'd be a good idea to be running too much piping or anything out there, but we're going to leave that open just in case we need it for something. This side of the base is going to be like fairly unimpressive, this bit, the far end. We will put some like high features at the top there. Okay, so I think here I think we can go one more height, one more along. Okay. In fact, actually, no. Doorway can be a bit of a actual... I know that's got to be a pillar running up, but actually that means we need to move this. Okay. Take that out. Put the stairs there. That one. Yeah, that's better. And that means I can then use... Can we do that? Yeah. That works out quite nicely. And then let's put a door in there. So G door. Get the base block. Figure out which one fits best. We don't really need an airlock, but maybe a nice idea, but like, to be honest, most of the time this air is breathable. So, doorway in, non-airlock. We could probably airlock the living space. But like, if we're going to airlock, we're going to also need to airtight everything, which shouldn't be too hard, but maybe we do airlock this, maybe we actually bring that out a little bit. But then I've just gone and placed a lot of really awkward blocks in here. So we should possibly airlock the inside. I think it just needs to be as simple as that. Double door. Well, you'd lose a little bit of air, but it's like free here, to be honest. And it's just basically to make sure that we've got a space here that even at night when it's like, oh, cold, or when it's super dangerous in a storm time, we've got air to breathe everywhere we go. Right. Let's weld up the doors at the very least. Okay, so now we've got a pair of functional doors. Nice. First doorway. It's not particularly pretty, but if we were to fill this up with stuff like these are, it'll blend in quite well. And we've always got this walkway. Right. So that's this particular part of the wall. We need to go at least one more block higher before the floor can go in, because of the height of the cargoes. We may end up actually using the vertical height above for more cargoes at some point, so we'd have to segment that off. But we have, what, let's see, one block higher, then 1, 2, 3, and then one more. So we could actually fit a cargo in this space, the last 3 blocks, with the floor in this one. Right, that works. Which means I can put... Let's work out how we want to do... maybe a couple of big windows might be nice. What's going on here? Oh, I guess it's just refining as and when it gets materials. Or are we still producing... What is being produced? Assembler is not assembling anything. So it's all down to the refinery. Okay, it's only receiving small amounts. Question is, why? We will answer that shortly. Okay, so they're not going down at all. Maximum distances have changed, but it's not actually used them. They're off, that's why. Okay, maximum distance, turn them on. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I forgot to turn the pistons on. So that thing's been skimming around the surface for ages. Right, never mind. Let's start filling in this slot. Again, I prefer to start with like a solid wall and then start looking at... Am I stuck? No, okay. There we go, that's better. Sounds better. Yeah, I prefer to start with like a solid wall and then figure out where all the empty spaces should be and where the windows and things should end up being. Just once you've got these basic frame blocks in place, it's easier to, from a distance, work on the rest. Because you can sort of snap things into place, as long as you can just get to them to cut them out when you need to. Right. That will be floor level for the top deck. So, let's just put that in. Okay. That's that whole side wall there. Minus these 2 blocks. Right, and we're going to need to work out some piping as well. Now, with my lifter I can get up and sort of cut out a little hole anywhere I want to sort of step in and deal with some of this, but I believe we are going to have to use the lifter to go any higher. The way I'm foreseeing like the roof piping so that we can get our turrets up. You see, I don't want to put turrets anywhere that's going to interfere with these. So the turrets are going to actually have to be in the top, in the wall, rather than on the top of the roof. So they would probably have to sit 1 block down from the top in that run there. So if we actually placed a couple of cargo containers up on the top deck here, piped into these via a gap in the floor, and then we can run pipes off the top cargo containers around the rim, and then we can attach our turrets onto there. I think that works. Okay. So let's get the rest of this wall in here. Maybe not from this side. No. Yes. Okay, that's going to be the far extent of the top deck's floor. Actually, no, maybe not. Maybe we do it, carry it on. But anyway, it's enough of that. Okay, so we will put a window in. I think it should be lined up with this kind of walking space, but not this one, because that one is where all our modules are going to be. So we have to put it along this side here. So we'll put a tall window in there. Yeah, something like that. Then we need to do something along these lines here. So I think a solid recess like that is a bit too abrupt. So do that. And then light can come in from a bit more of a wider angle. I'm not too bothered about the top. Not yet. We could probably look at that later, but that's like the floor level, so we don't really want to mess around too much with that. Okay, so we've got a window in there. We'll put one in this side as well. Not there, obviously. There. Okay. Door, 2 windows that match up nicely. That's a solid wall for the hangar, so we don't want any more beyond that. But from the green side, which is the nice side, that's quite an entrance. Okay, that works for me. Yeah, and from the inside they're kind of flush, so they don't really step out too much. What's that banging? Oh, something I never thought of. Crap. Yeah, a little bit of a problem there with the sensor not detecting far enough down. I mean, we could have put the sensor actually on the drill head, but this pillar doesn't go all the way down either, so that wouldn't make much sense. Okay, so let's LD. We'll turn the timer box back on when this gets round, just to make sure it's clear, because I think it did a couple of jumps down while it was sitting there waiting. Right. I'll do it till that gets to at least 50 meters deep, which it won't with those 2 pistons, so this is alright. Let's get some light around here because it's getting dark. Right, so that's the bottom half of this sort of laid out. We could probably do with working some windows into this side as well. Okay. And there won't be a doorway bang in the middle there because it conflicts a bit too much with what's going on over there. Unless we put in it, oh, we could actually do something here. We could put a little doorway in here, but make a bit less of a deal of it. Yeah, I think with something this size, we're not going to get it welded up right away. But how many steel plates have we got? 1.9k. How much actual iron have we got? 126k. Let's get a load more steel plates made up. I think we're going to need at least 10,000 of them to be able to weld up this. Hey, big job. This lifter won't even come into play until we get like to that 3rd block up, I think. This is temporary. Right. So here conveyor. So in between these, we're definitely going to need... Well, we could just use a normal pipe. It's not particularly crucial. Two of them. Because we are going to put more cargo on top of here. But we want that space for the floor. And the floor has no means of sticking there. That's fine. We can work that out this way. And we'll fill all that in shortly. Right. See, the interior stuff here, okay, we could build quite well. I could actually build the whole thing just doing this, but welding it up is going to be a nightmare without the lifter, so that's where that really comes into play. Oh yeah, we can't place it because of that. Okay, that's fine. But getting this upper floor on here is kind of important, so... we have our means of getting down there, but I would argue we don't need this particular block. I could sort of just drop down onto that. Like right there. We just can't get back up once we've done it, that's all. Okay, that's space enough for a couple of cargoes. Industrials could be kind of good. What sort of space have we got here? 1, 2, 3, and then the ceiling. So we're not really going to be bringing anything out the top of it. Cargo, let's see how we go with... Alright, let's just get the master cargo container here, and then let's see what we can do with it. So... I need to grab some interiors. Right, so that one we know will work because it's got a thing on every side. This one only has them on the outside, but if I placed it that way round, then we've got pipes pointing out sideways, so we just need to line this up correctly. See if we got that right. Yeah, that's lined up well enough. So we weld this one up first. Yep, don't forget that we need to name that lifter, so pop a comment if you haven't already about what you would call that lifter. And if you're new here as well, subscribe so you can see a lot more of this. We do crazy builds. This is basically permadeath. We have no jetpacks on, so if I press X, nothing happens. If I die, I can respawn, but if I lose my respawn pod and then I die, it's game over. I lose all my stuff. We are using the AQD vanilla ore distribution mod, which changes the way the ores work. They appear in the normal places, except deeper, larger deposits, and silver can only be found on the moons and in asteroids. Gold can only be found on moons. Uranium can only be found on the alien planet, and platinum can only be found on Mars. So it means that we can't have another one of these, another survival kit or med bay or anything until we've reached space. But having no jetpack at all, not even an Earth jetpack, no jetpack at all, means that once I'm in space, the danger is I have to be under artificial gravity, or use my mag boots, or have some other means of getting back to a ship if I come unstuck. So if I'm mining an asteroid by hand, for example. So we're extremely limited once we get into space. So these are what makes this the hardcore survival mode. Right, let's get another one of these things added on. Okay, that's our fourth large cargo container. Exactly how we originally planned to do this. We still have a means of getting down, sort of drop down there. It's not going to kill us. Piping wise, we're basically going to have to run some kind of advanced conveyor. How do we do this? What's the best way? We could run straight out to here. I think if we're going for the sideways... Oh, it's getting foggy or something. Oh, and our energy's low. We'll have to figure out how to get up there in a bit. What's our weather? Sandstorm. Another sandstorm. There it is. It's rolling in. At some point we're going to need to figure out what to do with the survival kit on this, because it's the only thing keeping us around at the moment. Well, in the event of a death. I haven't died yet. Oh, that's turned off, which means cargo must be... It must have got to the percentage that we wanted. Yeah, I've got a system in place that keeps this drill from... Ah, interesting. Doesn't turn off all of the drills. It should be operating on a drill group. Oh, I think I know why. Little drill. Turns off the whole of little drill. Which doesn't include them. Okay, problem solved. So yeah, this only runs until the cargo's got enough to be working on, and then it stops until the cargo's got down to a level low enough to be worth actually starting up again. Right, next. Let's just check the battery on here. That is definitely full enough. Okay, let's move this into some sort of a position that's worth using. So that is the side that this swings round to. We need to pull in some resources as well, so let's have a look at our cargo situation. Cargo, yeah, inventory, this grid only. Yeah, this grid only. Holy hell, where's this coming from and to? I hate it when they happen at the same time as these. Okay, we avoided that. That's good. So far, not being hit by a meteor. Whew. Nice. Right. What were we doing? We were looking at the inventory. So let's look for steel plate, because that's the main thing we need. So let's see. Small cargo container. We need a lot more of all of this. A lot more. Okay, until we can't really go taking this out until we've actually produced enough materials. Actually, we don't need that many interiors. Not yet. We need enough to fill up our cargo containers before we actually do anything. So, in the meantime, I guess we could do some welding up here. Right, let's have a little look at things from above. Storm is pretty brutal. Whoa, look at that spinning. Right, any signs of alien life? Yes. We can hear it, can't see it. Okay, they can climb up walls. Any more? Yeah, I thought I heard something. Last time there was 2. But the first time there was only 1. There may be another. Well, that one from there's despawned. Okay, I think what we need to do, because they can climb, we need to start walling this bit off. Which means this should stand without that block now because of these side blocks. Oh dear. Research base is calling for reinforcements. What's come close to the research base? That is an interesting question. Right, we need to put a door on here. We need to close these doors first. Right, I think this needs to be a full-on airlock door. That way. Right, that covers that bit. Now we're going to definitely need to put another layer on top. Just to reduce the chances of anything coming in. Right. Okay, so we should be reasonably safe inside this space. Ish. Are we safe? Let's put another one on. Let's make sure. I mean, you can climb up these, but I'd like to make it as difficult as possible. Okay. And that would be a floor there. We may have to occasionally grind something down just to weld up around. Sure, that's not going to be entirely airtight, but as long as the building as a whole is. We do have a way in for spiders there potentially, for now, but that's not too bad right now. Getting upstairs is the next thing I have to think about. You know, we have a staircase here which goes up this far. We could actually make some use of this. Yeah. I don't want to put anything here. But somewhere around here. How would I put stairs from here to there? So there would be perfect. But like, how we actually build that there is a different matter. It would have to have something to connect to. So, let's have a look at catwalks and railings as possible options. Right. Can we place any construction components to those as well? So let's get some construction components. So let's see, I can... Okay, I can place... Okay. That's not too bad a look. If I place that there, will that allow me to place... Is that the right way around? Okay, because that connects to the catwalk to the side of it. And then the next stairs will go there.
Energy low.
Energy's low, okay. I need something in here that I can recharge myself on, so let's put a seat somewhere just for the minute. Right. So we have our staircase up using the refinery, which is nice. That's well integrated. And I think having the catwalk over the top of the refinery there will look kind of cool. We don't actually have to plate that up, but I think we will. Yeah, we can properly turn this into like an industrial section. We might move those screens somewhere a little bit more useful later. Along with that, I think upstairs can be like ops and stuff. Right, okay, we're done with that. It may even be worth moving the survival kit somewhere into here. but at the moment the idea of it being portable could be a useful thing. Just for the minute. Once this place is like able to defend itself properly, we can start looking at maybe putting the survival kit downstairs somewhere, like have a downstairs below here. So right, okay, let's weld these up. Wonderful. This probably needs a railing or something over here, or we could continue some catwalking around, but we'll do that later.